The concept was to have three stories, and the three stories we call the gray story, which is the story about the main character with this hitchhiker and his dog trapped in the car. That was the initial concept. In fact, that was a short film, a 39-minute short film that played at this festival in 2005, and then we used that as a way to showcase this director and raise the money to make the rest of the film. So we shot the rest of that stuff that's outside of that gray part, and the white part is the sort of what we call it's the film where he lives. So the point, there's a fork in the road in the gray material where he's given that choice, or he's offered the choice to take this man's identity and live this new life rather than kill himself. He's suicidal. And in the black material, or we call it his death material, where he actually he goes ahead and kills himself. That's the other film called The Choice. And that film, he's a character in that film, but he's dead. And the character of the hitchhiker comes back to visit his wife and to try to figure out who this guy was that he tried to save. But they're completely separate. So you see, the director's concept is to see both films, then you make the connections, and it sort of builds this third film in your mind.
It's a beautiful film.
Thank you.
It was beautiful. The music is beautiful. The scenery is really, really nice.
Thank you. It was projected dark. I don't know why it does that sometimes on DVD, but sometimes when you make DVD, I think it darkens it a little bit. On the projection, so it was a little dark in places for me, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. A lot went into that. I mean, the director put a lot into sound design as far as, he's very meticulous in every element of the film, and sound was very important to him. So in terms of production sound, we were very careful about capturing. And then there's about, in this film, I think there's about 16 tracks of various sound that he's using. In fact, that's what he's in Serbia right now, doing the surround mix for this. So. If you notice, I got a credit for production manager. Yeah. Low budget. And these are my first feature films. We worked on the short film. That was our first film we did together. So I got my pretty much got my training on the set. I didn't study at film school. I just had an interest in film and got into it about 10 years ago. And cut my teeth, doing pretty much everything. We had a very limited budget, so I did everything. I learned, basically by talking to people, reading books, and then just doing it on the set. And of course, it's a learning experience when you're production managing any production, because it's basically managing chaos, and you have to pretty much react to situations every minute on the set. And so you learn how to negotiate equipment deals and get stuff for cheap or free or things like that. And then it's just the hands-on of doing it. And I loved doing it. It was a blast. And I thought it was the hardest job I've ever done. But right now, the job is harder, and that's the job of selling the films. That's a whole different ballgame and challenge. This is our first festival, so we're submitting to festivals now. We sort of had we were experiencing some things from that process. Initially, the two films were married. They were Siamese twins. They were the artwork. The titles were different. The titles were Gray and White, where he lives, this film, and Gray and Black, the other film, The Choice. And all the artwork was the interpositives. The artwork was black here, white here, and so forth and so on. We tested them that way, and we found that people came into the theater with preconceived notions that they had to pay attention to what was going on in this film. So when they watch the other film, they have to watch it because they're married. they didn't just have an open mind to it. And then when we changed it, we tested them again, we found we had much better results because people didn't have those preconceived notions, and they were able to consume the film freely. And so now we are submitting them separately to festivals in separate boxes. Some festivals we think, you know, are better suited for this film or for the other films. We might submit one to, you know, just one of the films. So we're kind of going down that road. Some of the discussions we've had with people have reached out distribution-wise, and they're intrigued by the two-film thing. Some are like, how the hell am I going to sell two films? It's hard enough to sell one film. So we're sort of going through that process now and just fine-tuning. We just built our Facebook pages for both films, and we're starting to sort of build audiences and, you know, get feedback. So I encourage you, if you have anything, you know, good or bad to say about the films, please go to Facebook, and if you're on Facebook and Dreamplay or The Choice, or they're linked, so you'll find it. But, you know, comment about the film or interact with filmmakers, and we're just doing that now, and getting critical reviews and things like that. Just trying to, you know, show that audiences are reacting a certain way to the film. And any independent film, it's hard to do to sell. Like I said, it's very hard to sell films today, especially independent films. And films like these are, you know, these are art films, and that's a tough market. But there is an audience, so we're trying to, you know, find that audience and convince distributors that, you know, there's that audience is there and they can make money, and it's a whole process. And I'm new at it, so I'm not trying to do it on my own by reading books or anything by that matter. But I've got some people that have done this before that are being very helpful to sort of help us shepherd the films out to the market. You know, I mean, yeah, we know the acting is good. We use professional actors for the most part. These actors are more theater experience,
which is good.
Yeah,
I mean, that plays something.
Yeah, especially the actors that are outside of the main character, the actors that are in the play. They're from a theater company in Chicago called Tuta Theater Asylum. And they're headed by a really fantastic director that's a friend of ours, and so we brought them into the film. They did a great job. The main character here, he's from Connecticut. He's trained in Chicago. That role was written for him. We already had him picked out, and you know, we were very pleased with the performances. He's a theater actor, and I'm on him all the time about, you know, getting more into film because he's fantastic. He stole some scenes in this film, and he actually became a bigger part of the film during filming when we sort of saw the stuff he was doing, because we had limited experience with him. But there was a lot of improv done in a lot of those scenes, so he became sort of a bigger character than was initially scripted. It did, yeah. I mean, the director's he's a film guy. I mean, he's been in film all his life, and he's like a walking film encyclopedia. And Kieslowski is one of his, you know, inspiring directors. I wouldn't say it was, you know, trying to be like that, but it definitely inspired him to be ambitious like that.